only 10% of men on dating apps are getting 90% of the attention.
Yeah, it's because
And
most
so
of the
that's
guys
a
on
real
dating apps
problem.
suck. Like they're fat, they're out of shape, they have horrible
Yes.
photography.
Yes.
You know, their life's not squared away properly. Like, you know, I wrote about this in my book. I told guys exactly what to do. And it's like, if you're under a 6 or 7 out of 10, don't even waste your time because you're not going to get anywhere. Right. Like you've got work to do on yourself. And photography is a fundamental part of that. I mean, that's one of the things that Spencer does really well in my community is he holds regular Zoom calls showing guys how to use their Instagram, how to leverage it, how to create better data, like dating profiles, the photography, the lighting, like the outfits and all that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of men don't put a lot of thought into that, which is why they get pretty bad results. I mean, like you said, the vast majority of men are pretty much invisible, right? Like there's really 3 categories of men, right? There's the ghosts that you don't really notice. There's the guys that you're kind of indifferent about. And then there's the guys that you're enthusiastic about. So let me ask you this question. Assign a percentage to each category. So what percentage of men out there that you're running across do you think are invisible to you?
On dating apps or out in the world?
Let's just use dating apps because that's where you're, finding men.
Invisible?
So you're swiping left on these guys. It's like you don't even look at it for more than
probably
half a second.
70%, 80%.
80% are a hard no.
Hard no. They're invisible. Yeah. Don't even want to look at the bio. Don't want to look at other photographs. It's just swipe left. This guy's a loser. 80%.
Yeah.
And then assign the percentage to the indifferent category, the guys that are just like, maybe I'll check it out.
Probably 12%.
12.
And maybe 8% that I would,
like hot dude, like that's it. I'm all about that, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty much aligned with what I talk about, Spence, genuine desire and deference. And, I made a video about it the other day on my channel. Published it there on the gram.
It's like at least 90% of guys put zero effort into trying to make their appearance online actually look good. They don't take it any effort into working on their style, or if their fitness is bad, they don't realize how much that impacts them on dating apps or on Instagram, whatnot. Then they have horrible photos, and that's what makes 80% of guys an immediate hard no, swipe left.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't it just easier to do it in person?
It would be if the guys were approaching you and if the guys had the balls to make the approach. Women also don't make it easy to be approachable too. I mean, I've found a lot of women, like I've even heard stories from gals. I remember so for my brother Stag, his best friend, his sister in high school apparently had a huge crush on me. I had no idea. As far as I was concerned, I was invisible to this chick. But he was telling me during my brother Stag that she had a huge crush on me and that she absolutely adored me. And I was like, I had no idea, like none, zero whatsoever, right? Like women make it pretty difficult for guys to sort of pick up on a lot of these things. So I think a little more of an overt behavior from women, flicking of the hair, holding eye contact for a little bit longer than what you normally would, making eye contact, would certainly help a lot of some of the younger guys that are not calibrated properly, as I was when I was younger, navigate those treacherous waters a little bit better too, right?
Yeah. Do you think like guys still do it in person or no? Or do you think it's all online now? Am I screwed?
I think the vast majority of men that are doing the cold approaches are mostly socially awkward dorks that are buying dating coaches from snake oil salesmen that aren't telling them the truth. They're basically saying, just memorize a bunch of these lines and you'll do well. Just go make 100.
Are you talking about the mystery dude?
Like mystery method type of guy, like
Neil
Stroud,
I've read that.
Pickup artist.
The game.
Oh yeah, I read that.
The vast majority of the guys that do the cold approach, and they don't. It's like I was talking about earlier, with that tweet. Like the vast majority of modern dating is men pretending to be more successful and influential than they actually are, right? And that's what a lot of the game is. It's a lot of cold approaching and negging and, you know, memorizing certain lines and sort of testing her in different ways. And I think that works on women. Like, there's no question that it works. Like, they've proven that it works. It's just, it doesn't work long term because women have a pretty strong bullshit detector. And it's like, after a date or two, and, you know, he might sleep with her, whatever, but after a certain amount of time, she's going to be like, no, this guy's a loser, right? He, you know, he's not what I thought he was. Or I'm not sure why I said yes, or I gave him my number, because he's not the kind of guy that I am actually attracted to, right? Like, all that negging and all that sort of stuff does work on women, and they will get a positive response. But that's one of the problems too, is a lot of the cold approaching is done by guys that, I mean, women tell me this all the time too, that they're just not attracted to the vast majority of guys that are talking about stuff like that, right?
I mean, how many times have you girls gone on a date with a guy who you didn't know at all? He he randomly came up and approached you, said hi to you at a bar,
coffee shop, bar, getting gas, grocery store checkout line, bank?
No.
Never.
I don't think so.
Never?
Probably in my 20s I did.
Yeah.
More often, is it more often when you meet a guy in person that you go on a date with, you knew him a bit longer? It was like you met him through something and were around him for a while? Would you say that?
Or I met him through other people.
Social
through
circle.
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Social circle. So someone introduced you to him.
Yeah.
Part of a friend group, was at a party. Yeah. Right. All right, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here, where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.